Alright, so, have you ever looked at your cat and thought, we can't be that different, right? I mean, sure, one of you uses a litter box and the other complains about taxes, but at the core, you're both just bags of DNA walking around. Or purring around. Whatever. But here's the crazy part. Some animals out there have DNA so close to ours, it might just blow your mind. Like, we're not talking about chimps anymore. We already know they're basically our jungle cousins. I'm talking about animals you probably never imagined were genetically close to humans. Let's start with the obvious one real quick. Chimpanzees. Yeah, 98.8% of our DNA is identical. That's close enough to wonder if one of your relatives went on vacation to the rainforest and never came back. But let's move past chimps. You came here for the surprising ones, right? Alright, check this out. Pigs. Bacon. Pork chops. Wilbur from Charlotte's Web. We share about 98% of our DNA with pigs. Not only that, our organs are so similar that in some experimental surgeries, pig hearts have actually been transplanted into humans. Imagine that. Your heart could be beating thanks to a farm animal. Kinda humbling, huh? And it gets weirder. You ever seen a mouse scurry across the floor and thought, that little guy looks like me? Well, science kinda thinks you do. Mice share about 85% of our DNA. That's why they're used in so many lab experiments. Their biology is close enough to ours that what works for them often works for us. So, next time you see a mouse, maybe say thanks for their sacrifice in the name of science. Or, just scream and run away. Your choice. Now let me throw this one at you. Cows. Big OL cows. Moo machines. They actually share about 80% of our genes. And when you compare certain parts of the genome, like those related to disease, cows and humans match up surprisingly well. Scientists even use them to study things like metabolism and immune response. Basically, cows aren't just for milk. They might be helping cure your next flu. Still with me? Cool. Because here's where it starts to get weirdly poetic. Dogs. Man's best friend. They don't just know when you're sad or excited or bringing food. Genetically, they share about 84% of their DNA with us. That's wild. Like, of course they do, right? They live with us, adapt to our moods, pick up on our routines. It makes sense that they're more like us than we realized. Some scientists even suggest dogs evolved alongside humans in a sort of co-evolutionary bond. Like we shaped each other over time. That's kinda beautiful. Okay, now, brace yourself for this one. Chickens. Those goofy, clucking, beady-eyed little birds. You ready? Humans and chickens share around 60% of their DNA. 60. That's not nothing. There's even a thing called the chicken gene model, used in embryonic development research. Because chicken embryos develop in a way that helps scientists understand early human development. So, yeah. Somewhere in your DNA is something you share with a rotisserie dinner. Wanna go deeper? Let's talk about zebrafish. Ever heard of them? Tiny little aquarium fish. Not exactly majestic, right? But hold on, zebrafish share about 70% of our genes. And over 80% of genes associated with human diseases have a counterpart in zebrafish. That makes them perfect for genetic research. In other words, that tiny fish might be helping fight cancer. Talk about punching above your weight. Alright. Now, this one might make you question your whole place in the universe. Bananas. Not even an animal. A banana. We share about 60% of our DNA with bananas. I'm not kidding. Now before you start wondering if you're slowly turning into fruit salad, let me explain. DNA is like Lego blocks. All living things on Earth evolved from the same original building blocks, so a lot of those blocks are reused. The basic instructions for making cells, copying genes, processing energy, they're pretty universal. So yeah, bananas. Now you might be wondering, if we share all this DNA, why don't we look like mice or cows or chickens? Good question. It's not just about what genes you have, it's about how they're expressed. Like, you and your cousin might both have the same uncle's eyes, but one of you got the nose and the other got the attitude. Same ingredients, different recipe. Also, consider this, DNA isn't the whole story. How those genes are turned on and off, what environment they're in, what other factors come into play, all that shapes what an organism becomes. That's why two creatures can have nearly identical DNA and look nothing alike. So now you're probably thinking, all right, this is cool and all, but why does it matter? It matters because it reminds us that we're connected. Not just to our family or our friends or our species, but to everything. To the lab rat. To the dog wagging its tail. To the bird on the wire. To the pig, the cow, the fish, even to the banana in your cereal. It means that life isn't made up of isolated, separate species just doing their own thing. It's one big, tangled web of shared history. Every creature on Earth is a remix of the same genetic playlist. And yeah, some of us have added a few verses, but the beat is ancient, and it plays in all of us. So next time you hear someone say, "We're not so different, you and I," maybe don't roll your eyes. Maybe they're onto something. You, me, the chimp, the pig, the fish, we're all just variations on the same code. Scrambled, evolved, shuffled around. But connected. Pretty wild, huh? And hey, if you like this kind of mind-bending science chat, stick around. We've got plenty more where that came from. Stuff that'll make you question what you thought you knew, and maybe even make you appreciate the humble banana just a little more. See you in the next one.